This is from Dawg Pound Daily. Browns studs and duds in Week 6. So the studs, David Njoku, tight end. Amari Cooper, wide receiver, had 12 passes thrown his way. And Myles Garrett, the defensive edge rusher. And again, Garrett played pretty well. I know it's hard to say that based on the defense giving up 38 points and really, and Bailey Zappi having the kind of day he did. But Garrett did have the strip sack. He did have a couple of sacks. He played pretty well.
Yeah, and to Corey Kinnon's credit, he is a writer for the Browns Wire of USA Today. And he was pointing out a lot on Twitter this week of how Myles Garrett is actually playing really well despite what the stats say. And I was one that called for Garrett to, play better. But then I watched a lot of his breakdown on Twitter, and it showed that he's getting double and triple team at an alarming rate. He can't get home. There's no defensive tackles to get home once he is, once he is double and triple team. Jadeveon Clowney has not been there all season. So he actually has been playing a lot better than I even thought. So shout out to Corey for that. As for the other two, Njoku and Cooper, those are the two main weapons of Jacoby Brissett. Yes, Donovan Peoples-Jones led the way with 4 receptions, 74 yards yesterday. But clearly that wasn't enough. But a lot of people were also going at Corey on Twitter this week about David Njoku and how he's not, an elite tight end. He's putting up pretty good numbers. They might not be, a Mark Andrews or Travis Kelce numbers, but he's putting up tremendous numbers so far this season.
All right, the duds from this Dawg Pound Daily article. Jacob Phillips, linebacker. Grant Delpit, safety. And then, really for the first time here, Jacoby Brissett, quarterback. And Brissett did not play well. That was more along the lines of what you thought you might get from a guy that you have to start that's normally the backup quarterback. But Phillips and Delpit have struggled this year, and those two guys need to get it turned around.
Yeah, I, for one, am sick of LSU defensive players being drafted by the Browns. I'm over the experiment. It's done and over with. Delpit showed flashes at times. Phillips showed flashes at times, but they just aren't good enough to be on the football field. I don't know if there's a replacement for them elsewhere on the roster, on the practice squad, or in free agency or what. But these two just aren't it. Time and time again, Delpit is on the losing end of coverages on the jet sweep yesterday where they ran it for a touchdown on the wide receiver. He just looked in, was focused on the running back, got fooled by the fake, and then there was a touchdown that led to one of many touchdowns on the day. Those two just aren't good. Phillips, I had high hopes for. I think a lot of people did this season. If he could stay healthy, he's been healthy. He just hasn't played well. So there's that. And as for Brissett, Bill Belichick knew exactly who Jacoby Brissett was. And for the first 5 weeks, we were playing with fool's gold a little bit. He put us in positions to win. He also took us out of positions to win. And he's a backup quarterback for a reason. That's why he's not a starter all but 1 year of his career. So, it came out and Belichick just gave a game plan for the rest of the season for defensive coordinators, made Jacoby Brissett beat you, because once you take away the run game, which Belichick did a fantastic job in, he knew Jacoby Brissett couldn't beat him. And similar last year, as we had Baker Mayfield, defensive coordinators like, all right, beat us with your arm, beat us with Mayfield. And they couldn't. And it's the same thing happening this year with Brissett.
And again, yesterday, I get they fell behind, but I think you were asking Jacoby Brissett to do some things that you don't want to ask him to do early in games. I get it when you're down late and the clock's running out, you're going to have to ask him to go and do some things with the football that you're not comfortable doing. You don't have to do that in the first half, though. You didn't have to do that as early as the Browns did.
They did it early. The very first 2 plays were pass plays, and the second one happened to be intercepted, and that is unacceptable. I can understand late in the game, especially in the second half, they're down double digits most of the second half, so you're going to have to throw more. You can't really rush the ball. But they didn't even attempt to rush the ball in the first series, and it resulted in an interception on the second throw. That cannot happen. Brissett missed his guy early, and instead of throwing the ball away, he tried to panic and make a play out of it, and it was the wrong decision. But not giving Nick Chubb the football, who was the NFL's leading rusher coming to that, he averaged 4.7 yards a carry. How you wouldn't give it to him on the first or second play of the game is beyond me. But that's what Stefanski called and had those plays worked. And the thing you said about Stefanski earlier, some of the play calls can be questioned. Absolutely, they can be questioned, but they wouldn't be questioned if they were executed. And if the execution was there, if Brissett makes that throw and doesn't make the pick, we're talking about a different series there. But you have to give Nick Chubb the football on first or second down. You just have to.
Yeah, he had 12 carries for the game.